Hi everyone, I'm Eszter Kovács and this is the last day at the Airspace World in Geneva, and I have the luck to talk to IFATCA, who is the Association for the Air Traffic Controllers and a non-profit organization, but I think they will tell more. So if you could please introduce yourself and let us know what IFATCA does.
Okay, do you want me to?
Yes.
Thanks, Esther. So I'm Duncan, the president of IFATCA. So it's the International Federation of Air Traffic Controllers Associations. So we're a global non-profit organisation based in Canada, but we represent around 130 member associations across the globe. Each of those associations representing the air traffic controller community directly in their country, their respective country. So from our perspective, we provide much needed technical input to the industry when they need it from the operational perspective in each country, from the people that are going to be actually using the procedures. So for us it's valuable because sometimes that input isn't really available to a lot of the industry directly, to get that feedback on what does work, what doesn't work, and how that's going to integrate with operational procedures on a day-to-day basis. So that's our perspective.
Fantastic, thank you so much. And Benjamin, you leading on the technological working groups because, you also changed.
I have a mic.
No worries. So you're working on the technological working groups, and what are the priorities, when we're talking about technological harmonization? So what are the number one priorities for you guys currently?
So just a short introduction from myself, I guess, as well. Benjamin van der Sanden, I'm the Executive Vice President Technical of IFATCA. And under my domain, we have the Technical and Operational Committee and the RPAS Task Force is what we call it. So we have a lot of experts working on topics related to RPAS, UAS, all kinds of drones. And obviously it's a very dynamic environment, and we're working on it every year and covering new topics, but the priorities mostly for controllers is predictability. How are we going to deal with these new players in our airspace? What are our responsibilities? How do we integrate it with commercial air traffic? How do we keep commercial air traffic safe and secure? How do we keep the workload for the controller manageable? Because, for example, for myself at the moment, I get, because we work in the control zone, all the traffic that goes up in the control zone needs to talk to me as a tower controller. But if there's an unmanned aircraft operating 10 kilometers away from my tower at 300 feet, I'm not going to come, that's not where I'm going to be with an airliner, right? So I don't really want to
interact.
I don't really want to interact with it, but there's no system right now that makes it safe for these operators to just go somewhere and be okay without talking to us, because the integration isn't there. I know the technology is there, but the integration into our system isn't there. So I think for us, that's the priority.
And Duncan, I maybe give you this microphone again because this is what is to me, is from a drone industry. I'm an engineer and more than 10 years in it. So I see these fantastic engineer solutions everywhere. Like every booth when I go, they say UTM, ATM, harmonized, integration is there. We are capable to doing everything on the world. technology is there. But you guys representing the users of this technology mostly, right? And as a user perspective, like very generally, I don't need to pinpoint on one country, like very generally, you think this is something already there at your tower, at your everyday operation? And because you mentioned integration is not there, but is it coming? Is it so far? Is it close by? Or how do you see this?
The funny thing with aviation is, we're a very conservative industry. And I can speak for having been a regulator. The thing, like we said, we look around this room, there's the technologies here. What we don't have is the procedures. Now, air traffic controllers are very procedure-based people. We have a set of rules and we have to follow those. And those rules are based on safety risk assessments and years of experience. But the controllers don't make the rules, they just follow them. So what, like Benjamin's saying is, I have rules that say everything in the control zone I need to talk to. We don't, from a controller perspective, I don't really need to know about a drone at 300 feet, but my rules say I have to. And because of that, I get workload, and then I need to fit that into my, my traffic patterns. So the thing that's really holding us up, basically, is procedures that enable the integration. And that is where the industry is a little bit stuck globally, is that the regulators they need to look at the technologies and try and come up with harmonized rules that work across different countries, because as a drone operator or the drone industry doesn't want one set of, for example, data exchange models that work in one country, but then we go next door and we need to use something different.
Yeah.
And that's why at the global
kill their
level,
business.
exactly, it's just not sustainable. So we need global harmonization on what actual information do we need to be exchanged with the ATM system to enable us to be operating, in a compatible manner. We don't need to know about every drone in the air, but we need to know about some of them.
Yeah.
And when we do need to know about some of them, what is that information that we need?
And does that mean we need to be able to interact with them? How do we separate our own traffic from that integrated traffic? So there's so many questions.
Like for us in a terminal area, so around an airport, the separation standard is 3 nautical miles. That's around about 6 kilometers.
Yeah.
Now that's a long way. If you're a drone operator, 6 kilometers is a long way. For us, it's not very far.
Yeah.
But that's, if you put a drone up in a control zone, we have to keep our aircraft 6 kilometers from it. It's not feasible.
Yeah.
And that's where I think the industries have a difficult time communicating with each other, because we're looking from different perspectives. For aviation, we're very conservative, and these are our distances. And when you come in from the industry, or even the general public, goes 6 kilometers, that's a long way. Why are we putting them so far? But that's our procedures.
Yeah.
So we need to look at what data do we need to exchange, and then also how do we maybe bring those requirements more closer to the operation, because it's 3 miles or 6 kilometers because the jet is moving at 200 knots.
Yeah.
Your drone is not moving at 200 knots.
No.
So that's where we're dealing with when we talk about new entrants everywhere in the industry. They are new to us. They're behaving differently, whether we're talking about low speed and low level UAVs or the space stuff as well. It's completely different to what we're used to.
Yeah.
And that's where our procedures and our regulatory environment is a little bit slow to react at the moment.
Yeah.
But that's also where we can help, because we give the operational perspective, and then once you've got that, you can help build the procedures and the risk assessments and all that stuff around.
Yeah. So I should say that I'm in this industry 10 years, and I found the last 1 or 2 years actually air traffic controllers very collaborative. I found the beginning a little bit more challenging, when this new industry kind of annoyed the already existing aviation stakeholders. And now I'm very honest, the last 2 years I feel like, hey, there is a lot of open-minded people and a lot of open-minded collaborative efforts, and so that's my own personal opinion, but I see a big change with this aviation industry now, towards that. Any closing remark, maybe first Benjamin, anything what you want to close the discussion with, and after maybe Duncan, any takeaways, for the visitors and viewers?
So, just from my perspective, I think you're right. I think that it takes a little bit of time for things to get moving. I think that air traffic controllers are very solution-oriented people. So if you present us with a workable plan, with workable procedures, with workable tech, everybody's open to it, finds it challenging, finds it refreshing to do things in a new way. So what I would say as a closing remark is predictability is essential, and collaboration with controllers, with all airspace users, and then we can get there together, but it's going to take a while.
Same thing basically is that involving the operational people in what you're trying to do helps build acceptance and ownership and collaboration together, so that when you're trying to do whatever it may be, they're working with you, not against you. And nobody likes things forced upon them, but if you ask their opinion and say, how would you like to do this? And they give you input, and then we work together to come up with a solution that everybody's happy with. So from our perspective, we're always happy to help provide that input, and thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. This was a fantastic discussion here at the Airspace World 2024 in Geneva, and thank you again for being in the show.
Thank you for having us.